Let's see if we can get Mr. Siphunzi back on the line with us. Just coincidentally, it's been very interesting. We're looking at past statements of the National Union of Mine Workers saying that they have been disgusted by the poor performance at Eskom, and it's a reflection of the leadership, in particular singling out Jabu Mabuza, saying that he, as Eskom board chairperson, has led Eskom to its worst performance ever. David Siphunzi, General Secretary of the National Union of Mine Workers, is back on the line with us. Mr. Siphunzi, I'd imagine this is a very welcome development for you, as NUM. You have said in the past that Eskom has lost 21 billion rand under Jabu Mabuza. Am I correct in saying you welcome the development?
So this is long overdue. It's unfortunate that it takes such a long time for our leadership to realize how much they are destroying the economy and the lives of the people that they are supposed to be saving. We said from day one that Jabu Mabuza is not the right person for the position. And it was worse now when he was made both the chair and the CEO.
So you had said at the time that you vehemently oppose the appointment of him as board chair, and as you say, he subsequently became CEO. How did that affect your relationship with the Public Enterprises Minister, Pravin Gordhan? Because you put that appointment and the disaster which you regarded as squarely at his feet.
Actually, Pravin is the person, is the political head of Public Enterprises. All the blame should be going to Pravin. And unfortunately, Pravin is so quiet on this issue of load shedding. In fact, they said, Eskom has been corrupted, let's get rid of all those corrupt people. And they were allowed to get rid of everybody they did not like and put everybody they liked. But Eskom is still experiencing these problems. Pravin Gordhan has to bear the brunt for the failures of Eskom because he is the political head of these public enterprises.
Now, I'm curious, what do you expect then to happen next? Because there have been calls from other labor unions saying, and in fact other sectors of society saying that more heads should roll. Are you suggesting that he himself should be removed from the portfolio?
Who, Pravin?
Yes.
Of course, he has failed. You can't blame the Minister of Agriculture for the failures in his department. He, as the head of the Department of Public Enterprises, has failed. And he has to move. After all, we don't even say he must be reshuffled. He must be thrown out of cabinet.
Now, I'd just like to know, on what basis would you say that he ought to be removed? Is it on bad judgment of appointing Jabu Mabuza, or are you referring to other appointments? At some point you accused him of flouting Eskom policy, not only on the board appointments, but also on the machinations at Eskom itself operationally.
You know, whatever may have been happening at Eskom that was not clear to the general public, that might not be the issue. The biggest issue is that Eskom is failing to supply the general public with electricity. And he, as the head of the department, has to, the buck stops at his door. Pravin is failing us.
Okay, so what would you suggest next for Eskom?
I beg your pardon?
What would you suggest next for Eskom? I mean, those who have been critical of what's been going there have at least proffered their suggestions on what would help lift the state-owned enterprises from its current situations. What is the National Union of Mine Workers suggesting?
Well, we say in such ministries, the president should appoint people who have the interest of the country at heart, not the people who are interested in privatizing these public enterprises, because it has been clear from the onset that Pravin is not interested in improving issues at Eskom. He wanted to run Eskom down so that it is sold for a rent. Now, when the president appoint somebody there. And in fact, nobody has gone to school to lead Eskom. But when somebody, within 3 months, you see that he is failing or is doing worse than the previous one, you have to act. You don't have to wait for years and years as he has done with Pravin.
David,
we have got a lot of qualified people who can run that entity. That entity was run without these shenanigans before 1994. And by 1994, we knew as the ANC that electricity now will have to be extended to a lot of other people who did not have access to it. And therefore, that meant we had to build more power stations. What did we do? Zero.
But Mr. Siphunzi, I'd still like to go back to the question, who is then qualified to run Eskom? Even you yourselves as the National Union of Mine Workers were against the appointment of Phakamani Hadebe, whom you called that land bank specialist. So who do you think then is ripe to lead the organization to better prospects?
I mean, Eskom needs electrical engineers. You don't need bankers to lead Eskom. You don't.
All right, David Siphunzi is General Secretary of the National Union of Mine Workers.